Former ISRO chairman U.R. Rao's key role in releasing early stage of Aditya L1 mission were recalled. He was a prominent personality of ISRO. There were many scientific issues that were attracting Professor Rao's attention, like studying the sun's chromosphere, the transition region, the corona, and its heating problem. According to ISRO, it is rather unfortunate that he could not live or alive to see or जिंदा नहीं है the realization of his pet mission means very important mission. With the successful launch of India's ambitious solar mission Aditya L1, former ISRO chief professor U.R. Rao's team and contribution toward its realization at the initial stage was fondly remembered. According to show, Professor Rao, affectionately called the father of India's satellite program, was particularly excited about the Aditya mission, and he ensured that it went through a thorough revamp of its mission objectives, including its orbital parameters, to make the expedition more meaningful and contemporary. Thanks to Professor Rao, Aditya L1 will become the first mission from India to be placed in the Lagrange point L1, one of the liberation point in orbital configuration situated 1.5 million kilometers from the Earth, where a satellite upon placing will have the same angular velocity as that of the Earth with respect to Sun, and hence maintain the same position in the relation to the Sun as seen from Earth. A tribute to Professor Rao on ISRO website states, the launch of Aditya L1 by PSLV C-55 launch vehicle was successfully accomplished by ISRO on Saturday. The vehicle has now placed the satellite precisely into its intended orbit, from where it would be proceeding on its journey towards its destination of Sun Earth L1 point on 125-day voyage. The spacecraft will finally placed in a halo orbit around the Lagrange point L1 of the Sun's Earth system. A satellite placed in the halo orbit around the L1 point has the major advantage of continuously viewing the Sun without any occultation or eclipse. This will provide a greater advantage of observing the solar activities and its effect on space weather at real time. Speaking after the successful launch, Aditya L1 project director Nigar Saji made special mention of UR Rao. At this juncture, I would like to remember Professor UR Rao, who shows the seed for this mission. She remarked. Professor Jagdeep Singh of Indian Institute of Astrophysics IIA, which built a visible emission line coronagraph VELC, the primary payload of Aditya L1, recalled the role played by Rao in determining L1 as the destination for the mission. ISRO first provided us a smaller platform of 50 centimeter later on when we were halfway through making the payload. At that time, the idea came that if we want to study the Sun 24 hours a day, then 365 days a year, when we go to the low Earth orbit and put the satellite in the polar orbit, then there will be some windows when the Sun gets eclipsed and we cannot observe the Sun in the low Earth orbit. So then ISRO, especially Professor U.R. Rao, suggested instead of low Earth orbit, we can go to L1, he said, with the plan to position the spacecraft in L1 along with VELC. Another 6 payloads were added, and satellite become much bigger and the mission to become larger, he added. VELC is an internally accurate chronograph with 40 different optical elements, mirror, gratings inside it that are aligned precisely. The atmosphere of the Sun, the corona, is what we see during a total solar eclipse. A coronagraph, like a VELC, is an instrument that cuts out the light from the disk of the Sun and can thus image the much fainter corona at all times. There were many scientific issues that were attracting Professor Rao's attention, like studying the Sun's chromosphere, the transition region, the corona, And it's a heating problem. According to ISRO, it is rather unfortunate that he could not live to see the realization of his pet mission. Rao, who was ISRO's chairman between 1984 to 1994, passed away aged 85 to 2017. He was conferred the Padma Vibhushan